My cousin told everyone I was sleeping with her boyfriend because she wasn't invited to my wedding. So I posted this proof of what she'd been doing behind everyone's back, and she went nuclear. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I'm freaking out and don't know what to do anymore. So here I am asking strangers on the internet for advice because my life has turned into a mess in like 2 weeks. So, I'm getting married to my fiancé Mason, male, 30, in 3 weeks. We've been planning this wedding for 8 months. We met at my friend Jenna's barbecue 4 years ago. He proposed last Christmas. Everything was fine until this whole mess with my cousins started. I come from a huge extended family where everyone is always in each other's business. My cousin Tammy, female, 27, and I grew up close. Our moms are sisters, and they're super close, so we were together all the time. But honestly, Tammy has always been complicated. Like, we were inseparable as kids. But then in high school, she started dating my ex-boyfriend Justin, literally 2 weeks after we broke up. I was devastated. I mean, who does that? But eventually forgave her because family, right? Then in college, we reconnected when she needed a place to stay after her boyfriend cheated on her. I let her crash on my couch for like 3 months, rent-free, because that's what family does. The thing is, over the past few years, Tammy has gotten worse. She shows up uninvited to stuff all the time. Last year, she randomly appeared at my work Christmas party. She's borrowed money and never paid it back, including $800 for emergency car repairs last year that I'm pretty sure went toward her vacation to Miami based on the Instagram posts that showed up a week later. But whatever. At my sister Vivian's baby shower, Tammy announced she was pregnant. She wasn't. Just to get attention. At our grandfather's funeral, she got so drunk, my uncle had to carry her out while she was sobbing. And then there was the New Year's party, where she spent the entire night flirting with Mason right in front of her boyfriend Kirk, male, 29, who she's been with for like 3 years. Mason was so uncomfortable, he wanted to leave early. So anyway, when we were planning our wedding, we decided to keep it small, like 75 people max. Partly because of budget, we're paying for most of it ourselves, and partly because we wanted it to be intimate. We went through the guest list, trying to figure out who to cut. It was hard, but ultimately we decided not to invite Tammy and Kirk, even though we invited her parents. I know how that sounds, but honestly, after everything, we just couldn't risk her causing a scene on our wedding day. I decided to tell her in person because I didn't want her to find out through someone else. So I invited her for coffee about 2 months ago to explain. I was really nervous. When we met up, I told her that we were keeping the wedding small and unfortunately couldn't include everyone we wanted to. She got upset when she realized neither she nor Kirk were invited. She brought up how she was a bridesmaid in our cousin Gail's wedding last year. I tried explaining again about our limited guest list. Then she stood up, knocked over her coffee, and told me family should always come first, but I guess she wasn't really family to me. Then she left, and I had to clean up and pay for both our drinks. I felt guilty afterward, but also relieved. I figured she'd be mad for a while and then get over it. I was wrong. So wrong. 3 weeks ago, I started getting tons of messages. My mom called crying. My aunt, Tammy's mom, texted saying she couldn't believe I would betray the family like this. My cousins, my other aunt, even my grandma was calling. Tammy has been telling everyone that she caught me sexting with Kirk. She's saying we've been sleeping together for months behind her and Mason's backs. She claims to have evidence and everything. I barely even know Kirk. I've maybe said 3 sentences to him alone in the entire time they've been dating. He's just Kirk, Tammy's boyfriend who works in finance or banking or something and wears those weird patterned socks. That's literally all I know about him. I tried calling Tammy, but she's blocked me on everything. Phone, Facebook, Instagram, even freaking LinkedIn. I can't even defend myself to her directly. Mason says he believes me, and he's been supportive, but I can tell he's different. He's asked me twice if I've ever texted Kirk for any reason, like he's not 100% sure. That hurts more than anything. My aunt called me yesterday, crying about how I've broken Tammy's heart and destroyed their relationship. Several family members are now saying they won't come to the wedding because they can't support this behavior. I don't know what to do. How do you prove you didn't do something? I've never even had Kirk's number in my phone. I've checked my phone records, and there's literally no evidence of any communication between us, because there wasn't any. I'm supposed to be finalizing centerpieces and doing dress fittings, but instead I'm having panic attacks in the bathroom at work because half my family thinks I'm some kind of cheater. What do I even do at this point? How do I fix this when I can't even talk to the person who started it? Edit. A lot of people are asking if Tammy has a history of lying about stuff like this. Not exactly this, but looking back, there's definitely a pattern. In college, she told everyone her roommate was stealing her clothes when we later found out she was selling them online for extra cash. And she once accused our cousin Mike of stealing money from our grandma when it turned out she had borrowed it herself. So yeah, I guess there were some red flags I ignored. Edit 2. To clarify about the wedding, we invited Tammy's parents because they're my aunt and uncle and have always been really supportive of me. I didn't think it would be that weird to invite them, but not Tammy and Kirk. But maybe that was naive. Also, we literally couldn't afford to invite every single cousin. We have like 19 cousins just on my mom's side. Edit 3. Some people are asking why I've put up with Tammy's behavior for so long. I guess because when we were kids, she was there for me through some really tough times. When my dad was in the hospital for that whole month when I was 12, she stayed over at our house almost every night. And she was the first person I called when I had that really bad breakup in college. I keep thinking that person is still in there somewhere, but maybe I've been kidding myself. Edit 4. To the people suggesting I uninvite her parents too, that would just make everything worse. My mom and her mom are super close, and causing more family drama right now is the last thing I need. And no, eloping is not an option at this point. We've already paid deposits for everything, and my grandparents have health issues that might prevent them from traveling if we tried to do something last minute somewhere else. Now for the first update. So a lot has happened since my last post. Like a lot. First off, thank you to everyone who commented and sent messages of support. I honestly didn't expect this to blow up the way it did, and reading through all your comments helped me feel less crazy when everything was falling apart around me. The wedding happened 3 weeks ago. Despite all the drama with Tammy, we decided to go forward with it as planned. I mean, we'd already paid all those non-refundable deposits, and honestly, I wasn't about to let her ruin something we'd been planning for 8 months. The ceremony itself was actually beautiful. Mason looked so handsome in his suit. I cried when I saw him waiting for me at the altar, not gonna lie. And our first dance went perfectly, even though we were both so nervous about it. The venue looked amazing, and the weather cooperated, which was like the one thing that actually went our way. But I'd be lying if I said the day wasn't tainted by all the empty seats. My Uncle Jim didn't show. My grandmother believed Tammy's lies and refused to come. Like 7 other family members also backed out last minute. My mom tried to rearrange the seating so it wouldn't be obvious, but it was. There were just these empty gaps where my family should have been. And yeah, that hurt. A lot. The venue manager was actually super nice about it and removed some tables so it looked intentional, but still, I knew. We went on our honeymoon to the Bahamas right after. We'd been saving for that trip for literally 2 years, and it was honestly the escape we needed. For a week, I didn't check social media or my phone and just focused on being with Mason and trying to enjoy being newlyweds. But then we got back, and holy shit, it had gotten so much worse. While we were gone, Tammy had created this private Facebook group called Truth About Leslie, where she was sharing what she claimed were screenshots of conversations between me and Kirk. They were obviously edited and fake, but they looked just real enough that people who wanted to believe her could. My cousin Pamela called me the day after we got back to warn me about the group and also to tell me something really interesting. Apparently, this isn't the first time Tammy has pulled this kind of crap. Back in college, she accused her roommate of stealing her boyfriend when the roommate got an internship Tammy wanted, and she spread rumors that a coworker was sleeping with their boss when the coworker got promoted over her. Like, there's a pattern here, but at some point, that stops being an excuse, right? Anyway, I tried to take the high road at first. Looking back, maybe that was dumb, I don't know. I didn't respond publicly to any of it. Instead, I tried to talk privately with my aunt and uncle to clear my name. I called my Aunt Joyce thinking maybe we could have a reasonable adult conversation. That was not what happened. I started by telling her I've never had any inappropriate contact with Kirk. Like, ever. She said she wanted to believe me, but Tammy had shown her evidence. I asked what possible evidence she could have of something that never happened, and she mentioned text messages and, get this, hotel receipts. Like what? I got pretty upset at that point because those had to be completely fake. Then Aunt Joyce suggested that maybe I had been drinking and forgotten about sleeping with Kirk. I was so insulted. Like, seriously. You think I just casually forgot an entire affair? She kept saying this behavior seemed out of character for both me and Tammy. I brought up Tammy's history of making similar accusations against other people, and Aunt Joyce just ended the call saying she needed time to process everything, whatever that means. But then something unexpected happened. I got a message from Peter, Kirk's best friend, saying he wanted to meet for coffee. Mason thought it was a bad idea, that it might be some kind of trap, but I decided to go anyway. We met at this Starbucks near my school. What Peter told me was crazy. Turns out Tammy has been cheating on Kirk throughout their entire relationship. The irony is just, I can't even. Peter showed me her active dating profile from just 2 months ago. He had screenshots of Tammy texting her ex-boyfriend Tyler, arranging meetups while Kirk was at work. He even had photos from one of Tammy's coworkers showing her kissing some random guy at a company retreat. So the person accusing me of cheating was actively cheating herself. Classic projection, I guess. Thanks to the commenter who predicted this in my last post, you were spot on. Even with all this info, I was still reluctant to go public. I kept thinking, family is family, and maybe this could all blow over eventually. I was being naive, I know. But then Tammy crossed a line that I couldn't ignore. I got a call from the principal at the elementary school where I teach. Apparently, parents had been calling with concerns about rumors they'd heard about my inappropriate behavior. And someone, obviously Tammy, had anonymously emailed the school board with evidence of Leslie's moral failings. I was humiliated having to defend myself to my boss. I've worked so hard to build my reputation as a teacher. I love my students, I love my job, and the idea that these false accusations could damage my career. I just lost it. I cried for like 3 hours straight when I got home. Mason found me just sitting on the bathroom floor. I asked him if maybe I was being naive by not defending myself more aggressively. He said that while he initially wanted us to take the high road, Tammy attacking my professional reputation changed everything. And he was right. This wasn't just petty family drama anymore. This was my career. After talking with some close friends and even briefly consulting with a lawyer friend about potential defamation, turns out this could actually qualify as defamation per se, since it's falsely accusing me of infidelity and potentially affecting my job. I made a decision. I created a comprehensive social media post addressing everything, and when I say comprehensive, I mean it. I included screenshots of Tammy's dating profiles with timestamps showing they were active during her relationship with Kirk, texts from Tammy to friends where she literally bragged about hookups at conferences, a written statement from Peter confirming Tammy's history of infidelity. He was willing to go on record because he was sick of seeing Kirk being manipulated. Photos showing Tammy with other men while she was supposedly working late. A clear timeline showing I was literally teaching class during one of the times she claimed I was meeting Kirk at a hotel. A screenshot of an email from my principal confirming the anonymous tip they'd received about me. I posted it everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, even shared it in Tammy's little secret group that someone had added me to. The aftermath was intense. Kirk messaged me almost immediately, saying he had suspected something was up with Tammy, but thanking me for the confirmation. He apparently broke things off with her the same day. Tammy completely disappeared from social media, like all of it. Radio silence. And my family, totally divided. Some are calling to apologize to me, including my grandmother, thank God. Others are criticizing me for making private family matters public. My mom's side is mostly supporting me, while my dad's side is more split. My Uncle Jim called yesterday and apologized for missing the wedding. Said he should have known better than to believe Tammy given her history. That made me cry all over again. I honestly don't know if what I did was right. Part of me feels relieved that the truth is out there. Another part of me feels guilty for publicly exposing Tammy, even though she literally tried to destroy my reputation and career first. Mason says I did what I had to do to protect myself, and that Tammy brought this on herself. I guess he's right, but it still feels complicated. So that's where things stand now. I'm a newlywed trying to enjoy married life while also dealing with this family mess. Not exactly how I pictured starting my marriage. Anyway, thanks for listening. Again, you guys have been more supportive than half my actual family through all this. Edit. A lot of people are asking if I've heard directly from Tammy since I made the post. No, I haven't. Complete silence. But according to Pamela, she moved back in with her parents after Kirk kicked her out of their apartment. Edit 2. To those suggesting I should press charges or sue Tammy, my lawyer friend said I technically could, but it would be expensive and messy and probably not worth it unless she continues to escalate. For now, I'm hoping the public exposure was enough to make her stop. Several people asked about my job situation. My principal was actually really understanding once I explained everything and showed her the evidence. She said, as long as there's no further disruption to the school, my position is secure. I'm lucky to work somewhere that didn't just immediately believe anonymous accusations. Thanks for all the congrats on the wedding. Despite everything, I really am happy to be married to Mason. He's been my rock through all of this. And yes, the Bahamas were amazing. We stayed at this little resort on a quieter island, away from the tourist crowds. I can share the name if anyone's interested. Not sure if that's allowed here. Now for the second update. So it's been about 3 months since my last update, and I honestly didn't think I'd be posting again, but here we are. I've been trying to just enjoy being married to Mason, which is actually amazing, by the way, but obviously all this Tammy drama has been hanging over us. Mason got a promotion at his IT job, which is awesome, but now he's working these crazy long hours, so we're still figuring out our new normal. Like, married life is great, but also weird. Does that make sense? Anyway, the aftermath of me exposing Tammy has been messy AF. Kirk broke up with her literally the same day he saw my post. According to our mutual friend Pamela, he moved out of their apartment that night and crashed at his brother's place. I guess he took all the evidence of her cheating pretty hard. I actually feel kind of bad for him, even though I barely know the guy. The extended family has basically split into 3 camps. 1. People who have apologized to me for believing Tammy's lies. My grandmother, Uncle Jim, Cousin Gail, and a few others. 2. People who think we both behaved badly regardless of who started it. Mostly my dad's side of the family, who have always been kind of judgmental anyway. 3. The older generation who believe that airing dirty laundry is never acceptable no matter what. My great-aunt Mildred told my mom that in her day, women handled these matters privately, whatever that means. For the first 2 weeks after everything went down, Tammy went completely silent, like vanished from all social media, wasn't responding to anyone's texts, etc. I was honestly relieved and hoped maybe she'd just, I don't know, stay gone. But then the messages started, and holy shit, they were all over the place. The first one came at like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. This long paragraph about how sorry she was and how she was just hurt about the wedding and never meant for things to go so far. I didn't respond because, honestly, what was I supposed to say to that? Then 3 days later, I get this completely different message about how I ruined her entire life over one little lie and how I'd always been jealous of her. Like, the whiplash between these messages was insane. The messages kept coming, sometimes apologetic, sometimes angry. Sometimes she'd send like 15 texts in a row at 3 a.m., then nothing for days. She even threatened to reveal more damaging information about me at one point, which was hilarious because there isn't any, unless my secret addiction to those stupid mobile games counts as damaging information. My parents have been super supportive, but I can tell they're just tired. This has been exhausting for everyone. My mom and Tammy's mom have barely spoken since everything happened, which obviously puts my mom in a terrible position. So Thanksgiving is coming up. It's the first major family gathering since this whole mess started, and everyone is freaking out about it. Various aunts and uncles have been calling my parents nonstop trying to figure out the plan. My dad's sister actually suggested that we all just pretend nothing happened, which is possibly the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Several older family members have been pushing for me and Tammy to reconcile for the sake of family harmony. She tried to destroy my career, but I guess in their minds, family always comes first, no matter what. I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to do about Thanksgiving. Part of me just wanted to skip it entirely and stay home with Mason, eating pizza and watching movies. But then last week, I got a text from Tammy that changed everything. She said she's been in therapy and wanted to meet for coffee to clear the air before Thanksgiving. She said her therapist thought it would be healing for both of us. I showed Mason the text as soon as he got home from work. He was concerned and asked if I was really considering it. I told him part of me wanted closure, but I was worried it might be another trap. He reminded me that after everything she put us through before the wedding, I should be careful. He suggested if I did meet her, it should be somewhere public and during the day. I asked him if he thought people could really change in therapy. He said some people can, but questioned if Tammy had that capacity based on everything I'd told him about her over the years. I told him I was worried about the whole family dynamic at Thanksgiving if I refused to even talk to her. He reminded me that I don't owe her forgiveness, even if she is genuinely sorry, which he doubted. After thinking about it for a couple days, I decided to meet her. I picked a busy cafe near my school where lots of people know me. I also brought copies of all the evidence I had, just in case she tried to deny everything again. I got there early and chose a table with a clear view of the door. I was nervous, not gonna lie. My hands were actually shaking a little as I was stirring my coffee. When Tammy walked in, I barely recognized her at first. She looked thinner and less put together than usual. Her hair wasn't done, and she wasn't wearing much makeup. I didn't stand up to hug her or anything. I just watched as she spotted me and walked over. She awkwardly asked if I wanted another drink, but I just pointed to the chair across from me. She launched into what seemed like a rehearsed speech about how therapy had helped her recognize her jealousy issues and how she was working on herself. I just listened without saying anything. She kept saying she never meant for things to go so far. When she finally stopped talking, I asked her why. Out of all the lies she could have told, she specifically accused me of sleeping with Kirk. She hesitated before admitting she knew it would hurt me. She said she was hurt about being excluded from the wedding and wanted me to feel what she felt. I pointed out that being excluded from a wedding and being accused of cheating that could ruin my marriage and career were not the same thing. She started crying then. Not subtle tears, but full-on sobbing in the middle of this cafe. People were staring. She went on about how her life has completely fallen apart. She lost Kirk, most of their mutual friends sided with him. She had to move back in with her parents. I just sat there. I didn't comfort her or reach out. When she finally calmed down, she asked if I would tell everyone we'd reconciled before Thanksgiving. That's when I realized what this was really about. This wasn't about genuinely apologizing to me. This was about salvaging her own reputation with the family before the holiday. I told her I forgive her, but I don't trust her and need more time before I can act like everything's normal between us. The change in her expression was instant. The tears dried up and her face went cold. She said I was enjoying having the upper hand and making her suffer. I stood up, put money on the table for my coffee, and said goodbye. As I walked away, she called after me, loud enough for everyone to hear, that this family will never be the same, and that's on me. But I just kept walking. The weird thing was, I felt completely calm. I realized some relationships just can't be fixed, no matter how much history you have. And that's okay. I told my parents about the meeting that night. They were disappointed, but not surprised. My mom hugged me and said she was proud of me for trying, and that maintaining boundaries doesn't make me a bad person. Tammy announced on Facebook yesterday that she's moving to Seattle for a fresh start. Most of the family seems relieved, honestly. Even her parents, from what I've heard. This whole experience has definitely changed me. I'm more cautious now about who I trust, but also more confident in standing up for myself. I've always been a people pleaser, but I'm learning that sometimes you have to put yourself first. I still have complicated feelings about losing my relationship with Tammy. We were like sisters growing up, and sometimes I miss that person she used to be. But I don't regret exposing the truth when my character and career were under attack. Mason and I have decided to host our own small Thanksgiving dinner this year for friends and the family members who've been supportive through all this. We're creating our own traditions instead of trying to force healing that might never happen. So, that's where things stand now. Not the perfect happy ending, but a real one. And I'm okay with that. Edit. A lot of people are asking if I think Tammy was actually in therapy or if that was just another lie. Honestly, I have no idea. The things she was saying did sound like therapy speak, but the way she flipped when she didn't get what she wanted makes me doubt she's really doing the work. To everyone suggesting I should get a restraining order, we live in the same town, at least until she moves, so that would be complicated. Plus, while her behavior has been erratic, she hasn't made any direct threats. If that changes, I'll definitely consider it. Some people are asking about Kirk. No, I haven't spoken to him directly since everything happened. According to mutual friends, he's dating someone new and seems much happier. Good for him.